Peace. So let's build on the science of crashing out. Crashing out is when somebody basically throws their life away. More so in an emotional rage, where they don't have control over their emotions and they do something impetuous, whether they end up, returning to the essence, or whether they end up going to jail for the rest of their life. They basically cashing their chips in one way or the other, to the grave or to the jailhouse. So they crash out. That's like you driving 100+ miles per hour, knowing that it's a wall at the end of the road, or there's no more train tracks, there's no more road, and you just run straight off a cliff, or you drive straight off a cliff, or you run directly into a wall. That's crashing out in the true essence. You also crash out when you have something going on, right? You got a family, you're making good money, and you let somebody trigger you, for lack of a better term, at the gas station, and you kill somebody at the gas station. You stab somebody at the gas station because they cut in front of you and got the pump before you did, even though you was waiting. That would be crashing out. Anybody can crash out. Anybody. Doesn't determine your walk of life or what your culture is. If you got something to live for, which at the very basic essentials is you got your life to live for. It's your life, again, you have finances, you have people, loved ones that depend on you, that care for you, and you push all that to the side for a moment in time, uncontrollable moment, and you throw it all away for whatever the scenario is at the time. You crash out. So we know anybody can crash out. I specifically want to build on gang members, though. So we're going to generalize gang members and just say that they're street soldiers and violence is just a part of the job. First and foremost, I am absolutely not an advocate for crashing out. These young brothers and sisters have a lot of potential. Loved ones, health, smarts, intellectual properties that they could capitalize on. Probably not at the present moment, but if they stick to the fight and grow and get to be adults, they could bear some fruit. So I'm not an advocate of crashing out. Absolutely not. The hood is the hood, though. And as long as you subject yourself to the culture of the hood, you fall in a line with the rules and regulations of the hood. No matter how you may try to disassociate yourself, no matter how you strive to grow, there is absolutely no straddling the fence. Let me repeat that. There is no straddling the fence. There is no growing in a positive aspect, but still holding on to negative habits. That's the farce right there. That's the fallacy. You see people in the hood try to do positive things and grow themselves and set their family up for a better lifestyle, better surroundings. But as that person is striving in the right direction, you still anchored down by the negative habits. So then you say it's crabs in a bucket, everybody pulling you down. It's the negative habits. You still associate yourself with the negative habits. That's it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. The hood is an aggressive space. The whole environment is aggressive. And that can be verbally aggressive or physically aggressive, to where we know crazy, aggressive things happen in the hood. And not to sound melodramatic, however, to survive, it's imperative that you will adopt some of those aggressive attributes. So if you're a gang member, being aggressive is just normal. That's every day a part of life. So we learn this at a very young age, to be aggressive. You know, you get hit back, and that progresses to different aggressive tactics that's typically taken in the hood as you get older. So we learn this at a young age, and as we get older, we typically hold on to those attributes, that aggressive tendencies. We hold on to it. Those aggressive habits fare you well within the hood, though. You know, it fare you well. It doesn't fare you well in a professional setting, going to work, corporate America, or removing yourself out the hood to where you just living around neighborhoods that's less aggressive. Because then you sit out, right? You stand out when you are just being yourself, but you raised in the hood because you super aggressive, and people can tell it, like, you super aggressive. So when you being positive and you striving for better scenarios, bigger money, right? You being an entrepreneur, you being a capitalist, right? So you still need to be aggressive. You have to just take a different tack on using that aggression. It's not the same as the streets, though. In the streets, you physically aggressive. You really about it. You want to get after it. So you pulling your things together. You are distancing yourself from the hood, and you building, right? But you still got connections. You still are entertaining, exploring, hanging out. The hood is the hood. You can't expect corporate America to be passive aggressive, and you in a boardroom being aggressive and being tactical, you know, on paper and pen, and then you go back to the hood and niggas is physically aggressive. They about that, because niggas is still in the grind. Niggas are still in the jungle. Work is still being done. So take away people in the hood. Let's use it allegorical. It's the devil. No, I'm not in no woo-woo and all that BS. I'm building to where you can understand. It's the environment. It's the hood. Aggression is the order of every single day, especially with a bunch of aggressive ass niggas. Use this old term. It's peer pressure. Your peers put you under pressure. Whether they are your friends or not, it don't matter. Your peers put you under pressure. And then you feel like you need to address that pressure. Addressing pressure, addressing nonsense while trying to separate yourself from the nonsense is counterproductive. Can't happen. So the hood calls you a buster. You a buster from not addressing all smoke. People not in the hood, and I ain't gonna say hood, I just mean aggressive ass niggas, you know, gangs and shit, call you a buster. People that's not a part of that culture, say you showing maturity, your maturation from who you used to be to who you are now. Your aggressiveness should never come into question, especially if you've already displayed your aggression on numerous occasions. The bullshit is when you straddle the fence. Because then, by default, you gotta play ball. You gotta play ball. And you don't wanna play ball. You wanna grow. You see other things. You see light at the end of the tunnel. You don't wanna be another statistic. For those of you who know, MC8, Compton's Most Wanted rapper, MC8, had a very popular song back in the day. It's a classic, Growing Up in the Hood. One of the classic lines my man said was, "The hood will take me under." That was over 30 years ago. The hood is still taking niggas under. And they know better. Just lack the discipline. Lack the discipline to maintain on a straight and narrow. And don't let peer pressure subject you to crashing out. This message kind of was probably sporadic, but I build that you get the gist of what I'm saying. And there's always a caveat. For any man that says that there's never an excuse to crash out, you know, to each their own. It's definitely excuses to crash out. Make no mistake about it. You got to just tell yourself that if I'm sitting in the pen for the rest of my life, I can look at myself in the mirror and say that I'm fine for crashing out on said subject. Now, It's very few reasons to crash out. I'm not about to go over the reasons to crash out. Street shit, definitely not crashing out. That's definitely not one. I will say that. I'm not one to tell niggas what to do. You have to pick your own levels of what crashing out is. But there are definitely a few scenarios where crashing out will be acceptable as long as you can look at yourself in the mirror when you got life in jail and be like, I crashed out and I'm cool with it. Discipline, maturity, responsibility, and having your priorities in alignment. That's the name of the game. So above all, unless it's absolutely necessary and there's absolutely no other tack, no other way, and you can come to grips and be fine with crashing out, which is 1% out of 100. 99%, there's no reason to crash out. Also, you shouldn't even find yourself in a scenario to where you're gonna crash out. Get away from them scenarios, bro. That's it. Get away from them scenarios. No crashing out. We building. We are leaving pillars and foundations for our loved ones, our kids, right? We building. We ain't going with the hood taking us under. Stop that nonsense, man. Let's grow up. No crashing out, man. Be that example. Break the mold and be that example. Like, comment, subscribe. Go through my other videos on this channel. Some good builds on here, man. Let's run it up, man. Peace.